but transitioning into swinging a golf club to swinging a baseball bat. Do you like that?
I'm excited for
like
this
that?
too. You're getting better.
Thanks, man.
This is a work in progress with the viewers, with us.
I just want you to be proud of me.
I am always proud of you.
Yes.
You woke up this morning. That's how proud I am.
Oh, man, I did. I woke up early because my dad called me 75 times.
He called you again during.
Oh yeah, not enough that you got your own crib and an awesome studio downstairs in it, but your dad calls you still.
Well, he loves you.
Yeah, I love him too. He's a good guy. Well, we're gonna hop into some baseball talk. From swinging the golf club to swinging the baseball bat, we're gonna hit our Cubs and we're gonna hit our White Sox, and today we're gonna hit our predictions for every division. What we think is
going
to
to dive deeper into our said teams, though. Obviously, as you see, he's got his Sox shirt on. I got my Cubs shirt.
Tomorrow is opening day.
Yeah, and we will be watching together.
Cubs and Sox. 11 o'clock for the Cubs, 3:05 for the Sox.
I'm going to have to get up real early to work.
Not going to feel good. I'm not going to feel good. It's fine. We're going to do this. But so for Sox talk, getting down into breaking down things, we've done that. We've talked about, prospects. We've talked about your Eloy Jimenez, your Luis Roberts, your Michael Kopech.
And your 5 for the year to kind of...
Yeah, your
But
Dylan
let's look
Ceases.
at this as a team, kind of what you expect to see. My thing for you, for your White Sox, would be there's people who are on the roster that need to improve to stay.
Absolutely.
So... My transition for you, give me what you think the record's going to be, what you would hope to see.
Love that. Okay.
And then give me kind of a little preview of the guys that are going to be impact to get you there.
Gotcha. Okay, so over under 68, I took the over.
Okay.
I took 75 and 87 for we're going to finish third in the division this year.
Okay.
Behind Cleveland and Minnesota. My high impact players this year are going to be Yoan Moncada.
Okay.
Timmy. I'm really hoping we see some special things out of Giolito, and really hoping we see some special things out of Carlos Rodon when he comes back in late June from his injury.
Fair.
I think that our outfield, I think we say goodbye to Avi Garcia at some point this year and get some more things to bank on, or even an established veteran to come on over for Avi, because if he's going to bat over 300 for a second year in a row or 30, I mean that's trade bait. I don't care what anybody says.
To me, you got to get rid of Avi.
You got to do it.
You got to pray to God that Avi hits like 400 the first month,
you got to think, man. You got Luis Robert down there. You got Blake Rutherford down there. You got Eloy Jimenez down there. You got a lot of people down there, and people, for some reason, from me reading online, they always forget about Blake Rutherford. Mm-hmm. That is a top 50 prospect in baseball, guys. I mean,
well, you guys are stacked.
He came over in a Yankee trade. That's a big deal.
That Keith Law list is like it's like 10 of you guys. Like
I think we had 10
it's
10 or 11.
Ridiculous.
So,
which I mean, the Cubs were in that spot. Obviously, the same kind of.
My biggest concerns to improve this year, like I said, we're just touching on it quick because we did that whole segment in our second podcast.
Right.
But the things to improve on this year. Obviously, we have some prospects, but our things to improve on is going to be starting pitching, because I have no fear that we can hit the ball. Mm-hmm. We can hit the ball. It's going to be starting pitching and bullpen.
Right.
Those are the things that are going to need to improve. I think you see Carson Fulmer move from a starter this year over to the bullpen.
No, that's the $1 million question as a White Sox fan right now. What do you do with Carson Fulmer?
He's going to the bullpen. I think he can be a good
setup guy. I don't think that they're in that spot yet where they can give up on him just yet.
No,
I think that's like a next year thing.
That's just me calling it.
And I think that's a next year thing, though.
And
I don't know if you should do that this year. I think you should let him pitch as a starter, because you're not trying to.
If we're not going to make the playoffs, we're not going to make the playoffs. Guess what? I'm having him as my 4th or 5th all year.
Right? No, let him, because
that's.
I mean, let's face it. A reliever is just a failed starting pitcher.
Exactly.
That's what every reliever is.
Exactly.
So, I mean, give him another year. You're not going to contend this year.
Exactly.
You're not bringing up people to contend yet.
I thought 75 and 87 was pretty generous.
I think that's a little high.
Right. I mean, a lot of people do.
I would take 68, to be honest. I think that's the...
Under or at 68?
At 68.
Okay. I still think 75.
Because I think that they're going to make a lot more moves to make them worse. Not because... And I think a lot of their games will be
like trading a Davidson or something.
Yeah, and I think the guys who don't fit.
I can see what you're saying. I
wrote down for the White Sox was strictly, I had 3 bullet points for it, and one of which was to stay healthy. I think that going into next
that's
year,
a very important thing, obviously.
you don't want any of these guys coming up who get, obviously Giolito he's had his arm injuries, he's had his issues.
I'm just so excited. Every time you say his name, I get excited because when he came up, he had 7 starts last year. He went 3-0.
And he's your
with
guy,
a 2.83.
and he's a huge key to like what your guys are going to be. You know who's pitching tomorrow
for us, right?
Yeah,
it's
Shields. He's terrible. He's
like,
terrible.
The tank is on, man.
Yeah, but
no, I know. I'm kidding. Right, kidding.
It's just roll out some bodies out there and hope James Shields is going to try to get as many starts that way. Maybe
he will not be a starting pitcher by the end of the year.
I think he's going to get traded.
He will not be a starting pitcher for the White Sox by the end of the year, whether he's traded, hurt, or benched.
The best case scenario is that while it's cold in April, he pitches very, very well against hitters who aren't ready to hit in cold climates in Chicago, and then Hahn can just go, hey, I got this guy. I'll take anything I can at this point.
Can I give you the most thing that I'm excited for this year for the White Sox, and then I'll move on to your Cubbies. Phase 2.
Who?
Phase 2.
Oh,
this is year 2, phase 2 for the rebuild.
This is the hardest phase of all of it too.
Exactly, because this is what you see with your players moving up from AA to AAA, or from single A to AA, whatever.
I want to speak to White Sox fans too after you.
Absolutely.
You go ahead.
This is the most important part that you see here, and I'm very, very excited to see what the prospects that we have called up. I want to see what they do. And this is very important for the White Sox this year. So, yeah, even though we're going to suck, and I'm not going to lie to you guys, we're going to suck. It's not going to be the funnest thing to watch. No. Or the most fun. Funnest isn't a word. The most fun thing to watch.
I like funnest.
Me too. But what is cool about it is you get to watch these people that might become the future stars, just like we talked about Bulls the other day. Mm-hmm. These people, like these young kids that might become the future stars of this team. And that is what I'm excited about for this White Sox season. Is mostly phase 2 because I know what we are. I accept what we are. Let's see what we got. That's my White Sox talk.
So this is 2 White Sox fans from obviously we've hinted on this show a lot that me being a Cub guy, I'm not a White Sox hater.
Never.
I've never been. I take a lot of flack from your dad, but that's the.
I take a lot of flack from my dad.
Right,
and I like all the same teams he likes.
But to go on with it,
remember when I said Carlos Boozer sucked?
Whew. Well. It was a couple hours.
Yep.
But so speaking of White Sox fans, this is from the baseball is better in Chicago when they're both good, and I'm really hoping that they both are just at the peak of what they are. My advice to you White Sox fans is to be patient.
Absolutely.
Because what happened on the north side was so rare because Chris Bryant came up and he made an immediate impact. Anthony Rizzo came up, made an immediate impact.
Javi.
Kyle Schwarber, Javi Baez. That is rare.
Eddie.
These kids, 9 out of 10 times when they come up, they struggle.
Right.
And they struggle.
Well, look at Tim Anderson.
And look at Tim Anderson.
Look at Moncada, too, last year.
It's the same.
For what was it, 15-game stretch, 185, 188?
So is everybody saying, like, and I've seen it on Twitter. I've seen it. I've heard it in Chicago radio around. People are saying 2019 next year could be a playoff spot. Sure, it could. Is it likely? I don't think so.
I say best case scenario that we see playoffs, actually, believe it or not, this year. And the reason I say that is because the impatience, not of White Sox fans, but of the White Sox organization. The people that run it. But I can't say that about
that's not good
for
your development
it's not.
As a player.
And that's why,
because
like I said,
it is just so rare to see your Chris Bryants come up.
I said it
and
on
your
pod
Rizzos
2.
Come up.
I said it on pod 2. What irked me the most was Timmy coming up early and Moncada coming up early. That irked me very, very bad.
Just
2 years in a row.
Be patient. Because if you let that talent – and I know that they have some guys that are – obviously, we talked Jimenez – is probably going to rip apart AA.
He will. I believe he's moving up to AAA Charlotte.
Did they put him in AAA?
Yeah, I believe they did.
But see, I always thought the best pitching was at AA, though.
Well, Luis Robert is down with AA right now.
See, here nor there.
That's why they put him in AAA, though, because they're grooming Eloy to come up here at some point this year. That's why he's in AAA.
You have to be so patient.
I wouldn't bring him up this year.
No.
At all?
I would wait.
Me too.
And honestly... Why in September? Because what is the gain of that?
Nothing.
I mean, obviously you can make the argument that it's major league pitching,
right?
But some of the teams you're going to play at the end of the year are so cashed in anyway. They're
exactly. I think we both agree on the whole baseball thing.
But see, like when it comes to the White Sox, need to just be patient.
That's what I'm hoping for. Is Kenny Williams willing to be patient?
But see, is that franchise with that empty ballpark able to be patient?
Their attendance last year?
No, it was better.
9.8%.
It's better. Here nor there. But they still don't draw.
No.
In a level that makes them
White Sox fans don't
money.
go. White Sox fans don't go watch shit. We don't go watch shit. And we're not going to either, because you know what? At the end of the day, the White Sox, their demographic of fans is more of the blue collar type guys, and we're not going to go watch bull crap. But when we're good, we're there. And it's not because we're bandwagon. At least me, I watch every game. I drive my wife nuts. She told me a million times, I'd rather watch football and basketball than baseball. But she likes baseball when we go because it's a fun experience.
It is. It's fun.
But neither here nor there. But yeah, no, I don't think, drawing stuff in, that's what they're going to do it for, is exactly what you said. Right. They're going to try to draw people in. But for your Cubbies, I had a 93 win year. Is that good? I thought it was good.
I had 94 and 68.
Yeah, I had 93 and 67.
You're right. Me and you are right around the same. I had a couple things jotted down too, based on why it's going to be that. Everybody a lot of people around the majors are talking about the Brewers, and obviously they really improved their lineup with Yelich. They really they have Lorenzo Cain now.
They got a Royd boy on their team.
They still have Ryan Braun.
I'm sorry, what was his name?
He's the worst.
What was his name?
Ryan Braun.
Ryan Steroid Braun?
He's the worst.
Yeah, I gotcha. All right.
But my question to all the Brewers fans is, who's pitching? Like, they lost out on Arrieta. Mm-hmm. They lost out on Cobb. They lost out on Yu Darvish. Obviously, he went to the team that's probably going to win the division.
I think they're going to win the division.
They are going to roll out with, and I wrote some stuff down about the Brewers starting pitching.
Hit me.
Chase Anderson is going to be their number one.
Okay.
And he had an over 4 ERA every year but last. And in the NL, when the pitcher hits, that's not good.
No.
This is the only year, which was last. He had a great year, and maybe he figured something out. But I think he comes back to himself. Nelson obviously got hurt at the end of the year.
Yes, he did.
And he is still coming back from that knee injury because it was so gruesome. You don't know what you're getting out of him.
Yeah, I didn't. Yeah.
Other Chacon?
Who gives a shit?
Whatever his name is. This is the first year he had a sub-4 ERA since 2013.
Yeah.
And the first year he went over 180 innings in 4 years.
Right.
Like, come on.
I actually read that about him today. I don't know how to say his last name.
Now, don't get me wrong. Guy. Don't get me wrong. They've done enough to maybe get a wild card spot because that lineup is going to be so good. Mm-hmm. Because I do like Yelich.
But anybody that says they're going to beat out, and I'm not being even a homer. I'm not a freaking Cub fan.
Right.
They're not going to beat out the Cubs.
No, they're not.
The Cubs' starting pitching improved. Their hitting is crazy.
And that's
the only thing that hasn't improved to the max is the bullpen.
Which they're going to throw money at that at the All-Star break.
Exactly.
Too, and they'll run away with it.
We'll see where they're at in the middle of the year.
We talked about in the last, maybe Brad Hand's over here. I read another name that's a possibility. Maybe if he's healthy, Zach Britton, which if that's the bullpen at the end of it,
I'll take that.
That's ridiculous.
Exactly.
But obviously he has to stay healthy.
Right.
Yeah, obviously the lineup for the Brewers vastly improved. It's going to be tougher for these Cub pitchers to navigate through it. But look at what they're throwing back at them. You have 5 guys who are going to contribute and be competitive with each. If you look at their ERA throughout the spring training, and I know it's spring training, don't take this comment about being spring and run away with it.
Crucify the guy.
It's been sub 3 for all 5 of them through 90-some innings.
Right.
That's fantastic.
Especially in spring training, because what people
these
don't
guys
realize,
are not ready
they're coming
either.
off a layoff.
Right,
they're coming off summer vacation.
Right, and the hitters, it's easier for the
summer. You know what I mean?
Right, it's easier for the hitters to get in a cage and to stay sharp.
Absolutely.
These guys hit all year now. It's not like these guys are going and these guys are in crazy shape now. Baseball used to be a fat guy sport. It's not as much anymore. It's these guys are trying to get as strong as they
I'm telling you. And did we touch on this in a podcast?
And we did the last one. We talked about Schwarber looking.
He's looking good.
And I think that the Cubs have 94 wins. I think that's good enough to get them.
So we were very close, man. I'm super happy.
And I think it's good enough to get
right.
home field advantage only because I just read an article that Justin Turner's hurt for a little bit here in the beginning of the year.
Where was that cited from?
Yeah, I can't even. He hurt. He got hurt.
I can't
even.
I can't wait to go get a taco.
Yeah, yeah. No, he got hurt. So he's not going to be.
Must have missed that.
He's not going to be a part of the team for a couple weeks.
Right.
I think he's out for a couple weeks. So maybe that kind of gets and obviously the Dodgers are just so strong. They have so much talent. But
well, I mean, since you brought up Dodgers, we
can go to the NL West then if you want to go.
Well,
to the
it's not
NL
even
West.
just the NL West. Can I pick out my winners?
No, by all means, go ahead.
Divisions. All right,
go ahead and go down the run here.
I'm gonna go down the run
because I wrote them down myself.
Okay. So you already got that shit going.
Yep.
All right. Well, so I'm gonna take out of the AL West champions. It's gonna be Houston yet again.
Okay.
Can I just throw in one thing? I hate the fact that they're in the AL. Drives me nuts. Drives me absolutely crazy because the White Sox beat them in the World Series.
I'm actually really glad that they're not, though, because can you imagine a division if they would have stayed in the Central with the Cubs and the Astros?
Oh, for you, yeah, I get
That'd be terrible.
I get it.
I mean, and obviously Houston's a great team.
Right. The AL East champions are going to be the Yankees this year with the add-ons that they have had. And obviously the AL Central champions, we already know. It's going to be Cleveland Indians, no doubt about it. My wild cards are going to be Boston and Toronto. Okay. So now I'm going to dive into the NL. I'm going to dive into the NL real quick. I'm just giving everybody my picks. The NL East champions will be the Washington Nationals. And this will be your last year with Bryce Harper.
Ooh.
Your NL... they know it. If they don't know it, they're dumb. The NL Central champions... Who do you think I'm gonna pick? I'm gonna pick Milwaukee. I'm gonna pick the Cubs. They've improved in their starting pitching. They're another year older with a young squad who hits the ball out of the park. You know why I know that? Because I'm from here and I watch it all the time. They hit the ball out of the park. Very, very good team. Definitely winning. The NL West champions, who other than the Dodgers? Yet again, no doubt about it. And my wild cards are going to be the Mets and the Diamondbacks for that.
Oh wow! Okay.
And that's what I'm going to take.
The Mets bouncing back.
The NL, I'm just going to do this real quick. And the NL, these are my early season predictions.
Your representatives for the World Series here?
Yeah, for the NLCS, I'm going to take the Cubs over the Dodgers yet again, no matter what anybody says. And I'm thinking I'm going to take the Yankees over Houston.
Okay.
I'm going to take the Yankees over Houston, and I'm sorry, I don't mean to do this to you, but the Yankees made really, really, really good moves this year, and I'm scared of them. I think they win the World Series this year.
Okay.
Again, for your sake, because you're my best bud, I hope that your team wins and you get to see a dynasty, which we've talked about this team becoming.
Which I think it very well could.
But we're Chicago, and we always get crapped on. So I'm going to pick the Yankees just for that reason,
fair.
and I hope I'm wrong for Cubs fans all around. I am not, just like he said, I am not a Cub hater. I do not hate the Cubs.
And I
want them to win.
I can justify the Yankees winning the World Series next year.
Very good team, man.
They are very stacked. I'm going to go through mine here. And the NL West Dodgers. I think the NL in general is pretty cut and paste.
I feel like the NL is like the Western Conference in basketball.
But there's so many strong teams.
That's what I'm saying.
Like, who are you going to pick against? You're not picking the Mets to win the division against the Nationals.
No.
You're not picking the Brewers to beat and the Dodgers.
Whoever picks the Brewers to beat the Cubs, whatever drugs you got, send some over, man. Because that's good stuff.
I don't see it. Like,
I don't see it.
Some people are picking it, and I could get that they were so much better last year and they gave the Cubs a skip, but the Cubs were coming off of playing all the way until November.
They played till November, and they're young.
And we could talk, too, about how
they came off a high, dude. They came off this.
And we can go straight MLB, terrible break. The Cubs probably win the next game against the Dodgers if it doesn't get, or against the Nationals if it doesn't get rained out.
Right.
And it's a totally different series against the Dodgers because they had to play the next night after flying. I remember they got stuck in Arizona because they had a family member on the plane get sick.
Yeah, right.
Supposedly it was Jose Quintana, but they never...
Wasn't it a 7-hour delay?
They waited on the tarmac for like 5 to 7 hours.
Right, that's what I thought.
Crazy.
That was all over our media here in Chicago.
So they don't get into L.A. until the night. They wait, they sleep, and they had to go and play baseball the next day,
right.
Which they exhausted their bullpen against the Nationals the night before.
It's okay. It's a beer.
So the Dodgers were obviously the better team last year, but the Cubs didn't do themselves favors by getting off to the slow start and then not having the ability to play the wild card team, because that's going to be key in this next year.
I'm still
if you're looking at the
NL.
NL.
They came off a high, man.
It's tough, and they said it too.
It comes with young teams.
They said it. All of them came out and said that the curse is not the curse. The hangover is real. It's tough to get out, and I get that. But
you'd be ignorant to say this team ain't going to be back at some point, and you'd be ignorant to say that you don't think they win again.
So I had the Dodgers. I have the Cubs in the Central.
Okay.
I have the Nationals over
the Nationals
in the East. My wild card is the Brewers because I do think they have enough with the lineup to beat up the weak teams in the Central.
You know me, buddy.
And
anything Wisconsin I hate, so I ain't picking them.
But they're not going. And I have the Rockies as the second one, and I have the Rockies. Colorado. I have the only strictly because if you look at that ballpark and some of the moves they made, the Rockies are a lot stronger than people take a look at. At the end of the day, they have Wade Davis, and he's electric in the ninth inning. He's going to close out majority of the games we've seen it. Yeah, I mean,
it's okay.
The guy got paid. I mean, realistically, they traded Soler, who was never going to be in their outfield, for him, and he had a great year. And honestly, he was the only arm that was anywhere near trusty. At the end of the game last year.
So what about your AL?
I got the Astros in the West. The Indians in the Central. The Yanks kind of same.
Okay.
I have the Red Sox, but my only different between you, I have the Twins. Because I know that you're not a Twins guy, but,
and I won't pick him.
But Byron Buxton is just such a beast.
I know
that I can't pick against that guy, and I know that in baseball it's stupid to pick one guy because if you look at Mike Trout, the guy hasn't gotten, and the Angels are a popular pick to be in that wild card slot as well. And it wouldn't surprise me if the Angels are there, but I went with the Twins just because they're a year older. They were fantastic last year. I expect them to build on what they did.
Keep on that momentum.
But
absolutely,
and then I have the Cubs taking the best record in the NL.
Okay,
having home field advantage.
Let's use this time to give your Cubs expectations before we transition.
Okay, my expectation is to just be healthy.
Okay,
I think that if this team could stay healthy, they're going to win their division. If they get to the playoffs with that four-headed monster of the rotation that it is, and Kyle Hendricks
is a stupid rotation.
Is able to, take that extra step and be the guy of the staff, because really you have 4 ace pitchers. You have 4 guys kind of fighting over what that's and don't sleep on Tyler Chatwood either, because he played in a terrible park for however long,
right,
and still put up great numbers in
I agree
Colorado.
With that. Yeah,
I expect them to go, and my expectations is to make a trade to address the bullpen.
Okay, cool.
And I know that it's going to take probably maybe a guy off the core, but I'm willing to sacrifice it if it means that I have a controlled asset.
The Cubs also do have 3 prospects in the top 50.
Right.
So you can always use one of those guys.
I think those guys are not going to be. Most of those guys are starting pitchers. I think the Cubs at this point should probably hold on to a lot of the pitching that they have, because if you look at Lester, if you look at Quintana, these guys are going to have to get paid. They're going to have Darvish. They're going to have they'll pay Kyle Hendricks.
Quintana's that rare case, though. He might be that rare case, man, because when he's on a team-friendly contract, but he pitched really good for the White Sox.
Right.
Dude's all about his kids.
Yeah, I understand it, but
there comes a point where surprised. Don't be surprised. That's all I'm saying.
Somebody's going to throw stupid money at that guy, though.
I wonder if he'd uproot.
I feel like
he might not uproot. I don't know for sure.
Okay,
but all right. Transitioning on over. I mean, I can't wait for tomorrow. Just to transition. Oh my god, I cannot wait for tomorrow.
Some baseball.
I can't wait to watch baseball tomorrow, man. Oh, I love baseball. I wish these would do better, but once the season starts going along, people
baseball
know.
Will be looking at more.
Yeah, they'll be looking.